Now we can go. All right, so we are going to, just as a reminder, this week, Friday is a quiz. A week from today is a test. Okay, so quiz this week, Friday, on last week's stuff, converting it into from equation form into standard form, and this week's stuff, solving conic systems, solving quadratic systems. And then next week, Wednesday, will be the test on all of conics. So parabolas, ellipses, hyperbolas, circles, switching it from equation to standard form and conic systems, or quadratic systems. And you get to use the sheet. Yep, you get to use the sheet on that one. And then your final will be 15 and 17, which is the following week. So 2 weeks. I don't remember. I'll look. Because I'm rearranging it and making it better and stuff. So I'll let you know tomorrow. Okay. So we're going to take here in this one, solving it with substitution. We're going to take this, and we're going to put it in for y. And so we get x squared plus 2x minus 10 squared minus 25 equals 0. What do you mean? No. That changes the whole problem. Yep. So then that gives me x squared plus 4x squared minus 4dx plus 100. And then minus 25 equals 0. Let me check my math. 2x quantity squared is 4x squared. 2x times negative 10 is negative 20x times 2 is negative 40x. Negative 10 squared is positive 100. I like that so far. Then that becomes 5x squared minus 40x plus 75 equals 0. All of them end in a 5 or a 0, so that means we can factor out a 5, divide everything by 5. Here, divide by 5. There, divide by 5. There, divide by 5. There, divide by 5. That gives me x squared minus 8x plus 15 equaling 0. That now is wonderfully factorable. X minus 5, x minus 3. Two numbers that multiply together to be negative, or excuse me, positive 15 and add to be negative 8. So then, x minus 5 equals 0, so x is equal to 5. X minus 3 is equal to 0, so x is equal to 3. Then I got to take those, and I got to plug those back in to get the y. So if I plug in x equals 5 into my y equals 2 times 5 minus 10, 2 times 5 is 10, minus 10 is 0. Then I got to plug in 3. X equals 3 into y equals 2 times 3 minus 10. 2 times 3 is 6, minus 10 is negative 4. So I get the points. My two possible answers then would be 5, 0, and 3, negative 4. If I check them, 5 works out in that equation. 3, negative 4 works out in that equation. So 5 for x, 25 plus 0 minus 25 is 0. That would work. So if I check it in the other equation, 9 plus 16 is 25 minus 25 is 0. That one checks out. Bada bing, bada boom. There's our answer. Okay? Questions, comments, concerns? Okay? Love it. So, we focused in on Monday of doing these type of conic versus align problems. And we can solve that with substitution. The other style of problem that we have out there is conic versus conic and solving it. And we solve conic versus conic using elimination. When you have conic versus line, you solve that one with substitution. Okay? Write that down. Conic versus line, solve with substitution. Conic versus conic, solve by elimination. So you need to look at your two equations, your two conics, if you will, and you need to first line them up. Okay? So I would, however the first one is written, write it like so, just basically rewriting the first one. Then the second one, you're going to rewrite it so that everything lines up. Okay? So you need to have your columns in order. So you'll have an x squared column, a y squared column, an x column, a y column, and a numbers column. Then, step 2 says you want to eliminate one of your squared terms. That's your goal, is to eliminate one of your squared terms. In this particular case, we have elimination already set up with these two. Positive y squared plus negative y squared is 0. So we have eliminated that one. If it's not set up like that, you might have to multiply one or both of your equations to get it set up like you would have done in a normal linear elimination type system setup. Once you have that done, then you just add the equations like we would normally have done. That then eliminates your squared term. So that gives me 10x squared minus 90x plus 200 equals 0. Everyone see that? Then what you're going to do with that is now you are going to solve that single variable. When you do that elimination, you should get rid of all of your y's or all of your x's. It should just happen. Otherwise, it's just mean. And I'm not going to be that mean with these. Okay? So first off, what I would do here is I would divide everything by 10. Then I would factor this one. Two numbers that multiply together to be positive 20 and add to be negative 9. I like negative 4 and negative 5 better. 4 and 5 would get me I knew what you meant, but Axel said it better. Okay? So then, you solve those. X minus 4 equals 0, so x is going to be 4. X minus 5 is equal to 0, so x is going to be 5. So we've solved those. So we've got x is 4, and we've got x is 5 as our two that we need to solve for. Then what you're going to do is, just like we did on Monday, you're going to plug one of them into one of your equations and get your y values. Then plug the other one into one of the equations to get your values. Now, once again, be smart with which equation you plug it back into. Top or bottom, which one looks easier to plug it into? The bottom one. There's less terms. Okay? So let's plug it back into the bottom one. So if I've got x equals 4, I'm going to plug that into, so that's going to be 4 squared minus y squared minus 16 equals 0. Well, what is 4 squared? 16. 16 minus 16 is 0. So that gives me negative y squared equals 0. Divide by negative 1 gives me y squared equals 0. What squared is 0? 0. So y here is 0. Then you've got to do 5. So you would get 5 squared minus y squared minus 16 equals 0. 5 squared is 25. 25 minus 16, 9. Could add y squared to both sides. And how would I go about solving that? Square root. What do I get for answer? Say louder, Panda. I get plus or minus 3 there. That part is going to be crucial. That plus or minus. When you're taking the square root of a number and you're solving, that's a plus or minus case. Okay? So all told now, the points that we get are going to be 4, 0. That was our first one from up here. And then we've got 5, positive 3, and 5, negative 3. Okay? 16 times 9 is 144. 144 plus 216 is 360. 90 times 4 is 360. So 360 minus 360 is 0. And since y squared is 0, it's 0. 16 minus 0 minus 16 is 0. That works out. You'll have to trust in the fact that the 5 is trust. They do. Because you get 225 plus 9 minus 450 plus 216 is 0.
The answer is 0.
See? Siri even said so.
Oh, would we get it marked wrong if we did 5, plus minus 3?
I would prefer it this way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay? So you know the steps. The steps haven't changed from when we learned elimination earlier this semester. Okay? And when you learned elimination back in Algebra 2, when you learned it back in Algebra 1, when you used it in geometry. Those steps haven't changed. It's just the level of difficulty, if you will, the what? Yeah. And the final. Yeah. which is why we're learning. Okay, go for it. Try that one. On the own.
Why isn't it
I didn't do it, I promise. Oh, okay. All right. So x So we got 5 comma 4, 5 comma negative 4, and 3 comma 0.
Yes.
Slade, you now have enough information to do the back side of the change sheet.
I haven't done any of it.
Well, then you got enough information to do both sides.
I know, the whole thing.